Yo, what is up guys? Welcome back to our videos channel today on F125. So, I'm here to do my settings video on F125 for today's video. So, a little bit different for today in this video. So, let's jump into my settings and let's not waste our time. So, first of all, is this. Everything is off apart from some of the few things, including the Racing 9. Make sure you have it full if you're new to this game. Because you get notes of the Racing 9 and the brakes and all turning and all that kind of stuff. And if you get faster and better at it, just turn it off or something like that. So I have it on corners only because I need to know where to brake and where to brake when you're in a race or time trial and all that kind of stuff, just to go faster and all that, to make braking a little bit later than some others, including AI as well. So if you are a little bit faster, go on off or corners only. If you are new to it, put it on full, if you're new to this game and all that. So yeah, that's all my assists at the moment. So you can pause the video anytime you want. So you can copy my settings if you want to, at any time you want. Pause the video as you want. Let's move on to time trial settings. I have everything off, including ghosting, rival ghost, and correct lap as mode as well. This one, if you turn this on, you see... If we just exit the menu, you see the blue 9 on the Racing 9. So it might get you distracted a little bit when you're in time trial. So the best thing to do is turn it off, if I was you. So I always have that off. So on the personal best temporary mode, where it's called. So just turn it off if you don't want to get distracted or go faster, so you can improve your time in time trial and all that. This is just time trial already, so make sure you go fast on that. Let's move on to camera settings now. I use TV Pod. I always have it every single F1 game for the last over 10 years. Field of view, I have it on 0. That's on 0. That's on 0. This one's on 14. When you move the camera forwards and backwards, I always have it on 14. So it's a bit similar I had on F124 really. So similar I had last year's game on F124. That one's off. 0 I meant. Angles on -20, similar I had on last year, so because you can see the road, so you don't have to look at the sky. Near quick plane, I have it on 0. Mirror, I have it on 0, so no issues on that. The most important thing is camera shake and camera movement. I always have it on 0 because it does move around, shake around on the screen, so you don't want to get headache or distracted or something. So it's best to turn it off because you don't want to get, like I said. TV pod offset, camera shake, move it on 0. If you do this one, it moves to the middle. So I say about here, where it is. So all 12. It depends on the, if you're using TV, yeah, make sure you put that in the middle as possible, like that. So if you are using offset, you can choose it offset or TV pod if you want to, but just make sure that's in the middle. If you're using offset and all that. So yeah, that's what I do. Yeah, I use TV Pod because I always have it every time for that. So let's move on to on-screen display. If you go into OSD, customize, you can change the round a little bit if you want to, like all that on the screen. I always leave it on default because I don't move it around. I always leave it like that. So if you want to move it, that's fine. It's up to you. Or if you want, but I always have it like that because I don't want to. I always keep it like that. I always have that every single time, including last year's game as well. Have it like that as well for the last few years. On-screen display cockpit view, have it off because I don't use cockpit cam. If you're using cockpit cam, you can turn it on or off if you want to. It's up to you. So if you're using cockpit cam or not, I don't mind it, but I always have it off. On-screen display, I have it on so you can see who's around me, who I'm racing with, and all that kind of stuff. Speed meter tilt, I have it on miles per hour. Because I'm from the UK, because I'm from England, where it's, well, that's where I'm from. You can have it on kilometers an hour if you want to, like in real life, but sometimes in Europe or where you are around the world. But you can have it on that if you want to, but I always have it on miles per hour because I'm from the UK. Temperature, I have it on degrees instead of Fahrenheit because I prefer degrees because you know what the temperature is on the tyres instead of Fahrenheit because a little bit confusing on that, but I always have it on degrees. Full track map, I think that's important as well, because you can see who's around the track. You can see the safety car, and if you're on your quali lap, you can see who's on your fast lap or snow lap when you go around the circuit. Yeah, that's definitely important, so I always have that on every time. Data time, I have it on. Arrows, I have it on. Driver tags, I have it on. And also start lights, I have it on as well. Because the start lights, I always have it on because I can see the 5 nights when you start the race. Driver's tag, you can turn it off or on if you want to. But I like it to turn it on because you see who I'm racing with. Or AI, if it's on 9, who knew I'm person who I'm racing with. Arrows, that's important, so you can see who I'm racing with, and also if you're alongside them, or like in a corner, or if you're going to overtake someone, make sure that that's important. If you see how close you are between the arrows and all that. Data time, you can see your personal best in time trial if you're proving or not, or if you're proving on your lap time, if you're gaining on the lap time, or if you're slow on the lap, if you're racing or something like that. So I always have that on. Virtual mirror, I have it off because you can have it on or off if you want to, but I always have it off because I don't use it, because I look on my back button on my controller. So if I turn this on, and I'll show you what it looks like on the screen there, at the top middle, it's where you see the virtual mirror. It does get you distracted a little bit, but sometimes, but I always have it off because I don't use it. So you can have it on if you want to, but I always have that. Have that off. So on the virtual mirror, so I always have that off. Session timer for practice and quality only is best. It's best to turn that on because you see how much time you have left in this session, including quality, practice, if you're doing like that. So that's the most important thing. See how long you got left in this session, so you can do another run, or if you don't have another run, so and all that kind of stuff in quality or practice. Display panels, I always have it off because I always have that off. So including career mode, or sometimes in other modes, I always have that off and all that. Onto controls, vibration and false feedback. General settings, this one right here. This one is the car setup panel. I have it on default because the other one here is look around. I've had it on default because I can press the button instead of looking at the thing, or say something if I look at the default and all that. I always have it on default. Overtake EOS mode, I have it on trigger, so I can press the button and press it again to stop it. The wasting battery and all that. You can have it hold if you want to. For some players do that, but I always have it trigger because I always have it button instead of holding it. So in a race situation, or sometimes quali, I don't know, something like that. Trigger, I have it off because I always have it off, similar to what I had on F124. No issues at all there. Knowledge check, that's for the wheel. I always have it on 100. That's for the wheels. I don't touch that, so don't have to worry about that. Controls now. The control layout. You got X for clutch and manual for pit stops. You'll see on the screen there. That's to look back. So like I told you earlier. R1's for radio. Circles to display. Squares for pit limiter. Triangles DRS. R stick is to look around. The default, so I can change tires, the radio, like you can select one, and also damage wing, having a wing damage, have it on that. And then you got L1 for overtake, X for manual pit stops. So that's what I had it similar I had on F124 last year's game. So into this one, the steering rate, I have it on 100%. I think it's for controllers players. Put it on 100%. I think that's important if you're a control player. And then steering, narrative, and this one, I have it on 25 and 32, because if you have an old controller, it turns by itself when you're not turning. So best to put it on 25 and 32 if you're on an old controller, like myself. So at least it's better than on 0. Throttle, brake, have it on 0 because there's no issues on that. You can have that on 5, if, move it up if you want to, feel it around a little bit. It was on 5 at the time, but I'll put it back on 0 because it feels better now on there. Just feel it around a little bit, just feel it comfortable and all that. If you go to vibration false feedback, I always have this off because I use on the controller, so I always turn these off so you don't have to worry about it. If you're using a logic or a wheel, steering wheel, put that on 100 or turn on vibration false feedback, turn that on. and put it on 75 using a wheel, or nod check, I say more than 100, just to feel around a little bit, and then make sure you feel comfortable and don't injure yourself. Maximum wheel rotation, I have 310 on this year instead of 300 because I just need, because I get understeer a little bit sometimes through this turns. So I had to put it on 310 on the wheel rotation. You can have it on 340, 300 if you want to, if you're experienced. If you're new to it, put it on 360 if you're new to the game, because it defaults about 400, so make sure it's 360 rotation, because if you're new, you get more turning. But 360 is definitely to go for. If you're experienced or you're very fast, just put on 340, 300 the rotation. That's kind of where you need to be, or even 310 what I got. So it feels right for me, so like that. So yeah, so move on to graphics settings now. I have that on 100, motion strength I have it on 0, steering on, and quality on graphics I had the similar I had on F1 24. No issues, surprise there. Audio, I have everything on 10, apart from master volumes on 3, because I can hear the talking and music and all that. And music, I have it on 0, because I don't want to get copyright if you're doing YouTube, so that's the most important thing. If you're doing YouTube, don't put music on, put it on 0, because you don't want to get copyright and all that. Onboard mix, you can have it on driver, broadcast, or this one, similarity, or whatever that's called. I always have that because it sounds nice when you're driving, so I always have that on. So it's like that. All these are off. Audio, speak type, kicker, I had it on last year. Engine ducking, 3D audio, I have that off because there's no issues with audio, and engine ducking, I don't want to hear Jeff talking too much. English is where that's language is where I'm from, and also you can change the commentating, like David Croft or the F2 person. You can change that around if you want. It's up to you. Multiplayer, I have default. I will have it on because I don't hear people talking rubbish or making weird sounds. So I always turn that on so I can't hear what they're saying. And push to talk, I was on in case I talk to someone, but I normally don't do that, but I'll put it on just in case. And then you got up tips shown. I think it's important for manual players. If you're new to the manual on this game, I would say turn it on to start off with, and if you get used to it, just turn it off, because you can hear the sound when you go up your gears. Formation nap, parking center, I have it off because I always have it off because I want to hear the sound. You can turn it on if you want to, if you're new to it, but I always have it off when I get used to it, and it's for the formation nap only, so I always have that off. Response only, that's important as well on the radio, because you won't hear Jeff talking too much when you're racing or qualifying or something. We don't want to get distracted in a race. So I have responses only, so at least you don't talk too much, and then I'll radio when I feel like it. You can have that on if you want to. Victory radio calls on or off, it doesn't matter if you want to, but I always have it off. Speaker control, I have it on because I can hear what they're saying. Music, it seems like again, I don't want copyright, I always turn that off. Music sessions off, and theme on, like that. And then stabilities, you can have it on if you want to. It's up to you, but I always have it off because I don't get distracted into the race or quali. So when I'm trying to concentrate, and then like that. You can have it on or off if you want to, but I always have it off because I don't want to get distracted, and also, and then I can hear what they're saying on there and all that. Onto temporary settings, I always have it off, similar I had on last year's game on F1 24. And options, exactly the same. All these are off, including civilities, radio, track limit, where it's called, and of course display and control thing for that. So everything's on off, so similar, no surprises there. And that is my settings guide for F1 25 for this game. So yeah, so that's my settings for F1 25. So you can pause it anytime you want, so you can check out these settings, and you can copy my settings if you want to, or you can change it a little bit if you feel right or not, what you feel comfortable with. So it's up to you. So no, so I'm not stopping you on all that. Yeah, so that's for me today. Make sure you like, subscribe to your channel. They appreciate it a lot. They give you support all that. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. If you're new to your channel, they appreciate it a lot as well. And I'll see you guys next video. See you guys next time on F1 25. Have a nice day. Enjoy your weekend where you are around the world. Enjoy your week. Have a nice day. And see you later.